Welcome back, Commanders, to another video, and today we are going to be doing a joint video with 44Mag and Fubar, and it is going to be an entire complete tier list of all officers in the game. Now, we have put some officers in an NA selection, and the reason for that is they are pretty much just completely useless officers. They just don't deserve to be on the list right now, and the reason for it purely is that they're just so old and just you wouldn't want to awaken them anyway. So with that being said, guys, as always, I hope you enjoy the videos, and of course, guys, their links will be down below if you want to check out their channels. So guys, today I am joined by Mag and Fubar. Massive thank you for them joining. How are you doing today, boys?
Doing great, bud.
I'm awesome. Happy Sunday.
Let's go. And today, guys, we're going to be bringing you, as I mentioned, a tier list with all the somewhat relevant and then relevant officers today. As you can see, we do have an NA. I've explained this already. So let's jump straight into it. And the first officer on the list here is going to be War Machine. Boys, what is your thought on whereabouts he should go?
In my opinion, I believe he should be B tier. In my opinion, Mag, you?
Between A and B, I mean, yeah, there's I would agree with B tier. He's an oldie but goodie. He ages well. He's powerful early in game. He's a must-have.
100% agree. I mean, as I said, he's free to get pretty much through the Alliance store, and early game he is absolutely amazing, but he doesn't have anything super crazy to be a main tier officer. Next up, we have Lady Justice. I think that she could potentially be an A as, you know, a spare officer, but overall, I personally wouldn't have her in my setup, but she's definitely got a lot of good skills.
Yes, and I actually agree with your assessment there. I believe she's a Winter Huntsman 2.0, sort of. She doesn't provide speed up, but she doesn't stun lock. She does good damage. She has great damage resist. Even her skills are great to keep for sharing. Your thoughts, Mag?
She's really popular on the light tank with Winter's Huntsman. If you play with the light tank and you don't have access to those stronger officers, go with Lady Justice.
Agreed, 100%. She's literally an upgraded version of Winter Huntsman. So the next one we have Whipcracker, and honestly, she's actually pretty decent. I remember when she first came out, wasn't too happy when reading her stats, but now definitely seeing in action, she's definitely one of those that are better in field than on paper, in my personal opinion. I think she deserves that A spot.
I agree with you because she's the only defensive tank officer that actually deals skill damage coefficient, and a pretty good one at that for her age, and she has some very valuable skills. Your thoughts, Meg?
She's more focused on defense, but she got some great damage coefficient, useful for MBT helicopter. She's not my first pick, but I just awakened her, believe it or not, and she got some great skills.
So guys, the next one here is Eagle, and honestly, I'm going to put him in S tier. I think he's pretty much the best versatile officer when it comes to damage, excluding the new Wings of Wanderlust that has just come out for the exclusive lounge. What do you guys think?
I 100% agree with you on that. Mag?
I would have to disagree.
Oh,
but, I mean, listen, my vision is different than yours. I do have those exclusive officers. I don't have the cowboy, but I do believe that in my recent testing, they were great, but they're aging a little bit, and they're not as effective, or they're not as he's not as competitive as the new Gen 4 officers. He's still great. He got some useful skills for base defense. However, he's not aging well, in my opinion.
for sure. That's a very good point. I mean, as we move on in the game, there's always going to be bigger and better officers coming out. But would you agree, Mag, out of all of the versatile officers, excluding the exclusive lounge, he is by far the best one out of the versatile ones?
Yeah, if you take into consideration that he's versatile, of course, he can do it all.
Okay, perfect. But honestly, great officer. We'll maybe come back to switching him to A, but for the moment, we'll leave him in S because it's 2-1 at the moment, but we may end up moving him down. So the next one here, we have Angel of Light. And honestly, Angel of Light to me personally is a high B. Now, the reason she's not in A because there are better officers, but she definitely has a good skill set to keep those infantry alive for a decent amount of time.
If you are an infantry player and you want to tank bases, you have to put her in B tier. Believe it or not, call me crazy, but all the mega whales or all the base hunters that siege bases with infantry, they have that officer. So yeah, but she's very specific though.
Yeah.
I agree with Mag there. I see very commonly when tanking bases, it is Everbloom with Angel of Light, and as an infantry player, I can protest that because I've tried because I don't have Everbloom. I've tried Thorn Countess with Steel Fighter because those are two people I had for my MB, and it just doesn't compare. It just doesn't at all.
See, for my personal testing that I've done, it's not official testing, but a friend of mine in my alliance has Everbloom and Angel of Light, both awoken. He has more infantry tech than me, and what he's done is tanked a base and died within X amount of time. And then I've used Everbloom and Thorn and actually had a much longer time alive, because technically Thorn is almost a versatile officer. There's only one skill that goes towards tanks. The rest work on all of her actual on any unit. So I've actually found that Thorn and Everbloom to me seem to be lasting longer, and it'd be really cool to see an actual whale with a maxed out infantry try and test this as well.
Yeah, sorry, I will have to disagree with you, but I'm just saying there is one universal combo, the one crazy combo for tanking base, and that's Everbloom with Angela or Light. But
yeah, I mean, obviously I understand I don't play in those super big leagues. It would be really cool to see you know, one of those wows try and test out the Thorn and Everbloom theory, but for now it will just remain a theory. Moving on to the next one, I don't even remember his name. Iron something.
Iron Bastion.
Iron Bastion. I think he's pretty much useless. Almost deserves to be an NA, but he does have a skill or two that you could end up skill training. But overall, he's a newer officer, but I think he's pretty useless.
I would actually just throw him in NA. He is completely useless. He's the worst infantry officer in the game. He only has one skill that can be effectively shared to other units other than infantry, and that it would be his second skill, I believe, and that's a fortification damage. And as you know, infantry is actually counted as fortification when button bunkers, and that's where his value comes from. So you could beef up your artillery if you don't have an RL. Your thoughts, Mag?
Unless you play with 5 infantry troops in your base, then you may need him. Otherwise, it's a hard pass.
Yeah, 100%. He's basically the bottom of C tier. Next up, we've got Still, and honestly, I think she's a sort of low end A. When the game obviously came out, she was definitely higher, but now, you know, we've got better officers that do the exact same job, just at a greater magnitude. So I think she's still comfortably in A, but the low end down of it. What do you guys think?
I think she is, well, very well suited for A. I wouldn't say low tier. She aged very well. Seeing she's she's the oldest, I believe, base defense officers that you could call her a base defense officer. She has the highest shield coefficient in the game. And her skills are very valuable all the way across the field. So that's my opinion. Yours, Mag?
I still use her only when my base is about to get under siege. I will switch her to my lineup. Otherwise, there's better options.
Agreed. Very well put in my personal opinion. Next up is a fan favorite here amongst everyone, and it is Lady Liberte. Honestly, one of the best officers in the game right now, being an exclusive lounge, you would hope so. What are your thoughts on her?
She's the best. She's the best. Howitzer, she's the best. Any artillery officer, bar none.
See, there's a small thing there. I think Red Heat might be trying to take that throne, but they are on par to be the best, as you just said.
If you have
If
to pick between them two, I would go with Lady Liberty first
Oh.
because she throws lead at 5 grids. But that's
True.
about it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you are a free-to-play player or a white spender, and this is you're coming up on your 75 days, and this is your first exclusive lounge, do not invest your statues in or drinks into Saber of the Nation. I would actually strongly recommend that you put your drinks into Lady Liberty over Red Heat, and the reason why is so that way you have more flexibility on the battlefield. Like Mag said, 5 grids is a game changer, and having 2 officers with that ability will definitely help you.
So the next officer here, we have Svallin, and honestly, I think he's a decent officer. Again, he's obviously mainly for a super heavy. I do see a lot of people using him on an MB. I think he has a lot of potential. Like, if the super heavy one day becomes more of a field unit as well as a tanking unit, I think he could have a lot of potential there in the damage with obviously other paired damage officers. What do you guys think?
I think Svallin is a good officer. Definitely worth awakening, especially if you have an SH and you're tanking bases. He's pretty decent in the field, so I think he deserves his role there. What are your thoughts, Mag?
If you play with a super heavy, you're thinking base, Valen, and Uncle is a must-have. It's the best so far. It's the best combo.
Agreed. And honestly, me and Mag have had this conversation before about how I feel with Svallin. I feel like he, at the moment, is just a one-trick pony. But of course, you know, it's a real big discussion between Thorn and Svallin, who's better to have when tanking a base. But obviously, he is better. Svallin is the best when it comes to tanking a base. But he is a one-trick pony, so you've got to have that in mind. Moving on, we have Valkyrie, and Valkyrie used to be an S tier. Would you guys still say that she's S tier, even though there are new officers coming out, or would you put her at a high A tier now due to the new officers?
She's A now.
Okay.
I would say S tier. Here's why. I'm gonna, before you guys go, right now, we can all agree that there is not many very potent tank officers for free to play
Agreed.
or light spenders. So that's why she's still in S tier for me. She has a ton of valuable skills. For example, she has one of the best special skills in the game that does not revolve around crit rate. So that right there for me puts her in S tier because all her skills are very valuable to be shared.
Ooh, I don't know, man.
I mean,
you put Valkyrie in S tier, that means Steel Phoenix and Rapier, they're what? S tier as well? I don't know.
I mean, I do understand.
Disagree, but
I understand Mag's point, but I feel like maybe we should have another list, like something above S, like an S++ just for exclusive lounge, because all exclusive lounges are gonna, well, not all, but most of them, most of them are gonna be that, just in that top tier. There is no escaping it. But then when it comes to free to play, Valkyrie is definitely one of the best free to play officers. So yes, she's a high end, maybe an S tier, but you know, for now, it's one of those, like, both of these officers are at the top of the free-to-play, so maybe we'll have to end up reserving, and we'll come back to it at the end to see if we think they should be bumped up, but for now, I guess we can leave them there. So, moving on, guys, we have got Lord of Order, again, another exclusive lounge, tank officer. I believe he's a mixture between defense and offense, and honestly, definitely a very good officer to have, but is he, at the moment, like, if you had a brand new account, guys, would this be one guy you would get straight away? Yes or no?
no.
No.
Hang on.
He's still good though. Don't get me wrong. He deals some great damage. He got a shield. He got the passive healing. He's, of course, he's not getting out of date or he's not getting obsolete. There's always better officers now, but back then I was the absolute best option with Professor Payne.
In my opinion, he is the best complementary officer out of the exclusive lounge. You put him with any one of the exclusive lounge officers that are related to tank or Wings of Wanderlust, and you're gonna absolutely dominate. He's the, like I said, the best companion officer, like an aide, in my opinion. Like if you could put him with Steel Phoenix, it's gonna dominate because their skills are so similar. If you put him with Wings of Wanderlust, you're gonna dominate in that aspect. If you put him with Professor Payne, you're gonna shore up Professor Payne's weaknesses. He is a great companion officer, in my opinion.
That makes sense. That's a very good evaluation from my end. The next one is Professor Payne, which I believe was the first ever tank officer to come out for exclusive lounge. I guess he still has to remain in S tier, but overall, he's definitely gonna be one of the weaker, exclusive lounge officers now because time has changed, and I just don't see him being that relevant anymore compared to these newer ones that are coming out, including free-to-play officers are better than him now.
Yep, I agree with that statement. He's still good. He got some great skills. He does have this active healing, but he doesn't have the shield. He deals some great damage. Would not be my first pick to awaken if I had the money. I would go with somebody else, but yeah. If you're about to finish him, keep going. Otherwise, I would pass.
In my opinion, I don't like Professor Payne. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I love his art, right? We can all say that he looks like a badass with his art, whether he's awakened or not. But he has two major drawbacks that I do not like. One is if his health drops below 70%. He loses a pretty significant damage coefficient. I'll think of like 450.
25%.
Oh, 25%. And the second one is when he's awakened, you actually get a debuff on your damage resist of 10%. Now, I'm not saying he's not a good officer. I'm saying he has these drawbacks that you can work around to. You have to strengthen because of these drawbacks. So I feel like he needs to be put with, like we said before, Lord of Order to strengthen these issues, and any officer you put him with has to have that. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And honestly, as I said, as all of us have said, if you do already have him close to being finished, definitely finish him, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be better officers coming out. Obviously, if you're less than, if you're only 180 statues in, you've only got one skill, don't bother, go on to the next one because you're less than halfway. But if you're definitely close to him, definitely get him finished. Next up is a must-have, and honestly, I'm an arty person, so I'm going to put her first, but definitely probably the best tank officer on the game right now. What do you guys think?
Yeah, she's the best. She is the very best tank officer right now. Better for the light tank, I guess, but good for any fast armor.
My opinion is she has amazing art, she has great skills, and her tactical skill on the battlefield, in my opinion, is one of the coolest. So that's just my opinion there.
Yeah, great. I think that's probably one of the easiest S tiers we've placed today. So moving on to Mr. Uncle. And I think this is going to be, I don't know, you just might disagree, but I think this is going to be our first free-to-play officer that's going to go in S tier without any, drawbacks from the both of you. But we'll find out. What do you guys think?
I think he is definitely worth an S tier, but what we should ask, why is he put in the S tier? And I'm going to explain that right now. He has second skill that is shareable. It does a normal attack damage buff to not buff, normal attack damage reduction that applies to your base, and it can be shared, so you could get a double stack of 10% there. He provides a base recovery when he's awakened, and he also offers a skill damage reduction from officers at 40%. That's what really makes him great, but what really puts him into S tier over the other officers such as Steel Fighter and Svallin and Whipcracker, in my opinion, is his special skill, the coin flip. What do you think, Mag?
Yeah, you get, I think, 10% damage resist buff. It can stack twice. But overall, on the field, he's great. He really boosts Thorn Countess or Svallin, and he makes sure you're pairing with another offensive officer, great. He's truly universal. I have him on my lineup. He boosts the base defense as well. He increase your HP recovery. I mean, he's great. He's awesome. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is a first agreed S tier for a free-to-play officer. For me, though, Mag and Fubar, I've got a question. I currently, as you know, someone who's been around for a while, I have Steel Fighter Awoken, and obviously, although she's not on my main unit, she's just on a sort of spare unit that I don't realistically use. And I currently have her just for the fact that she provides that 30%. Do you think it is wise for me to use another 720 statues just to get an extra 10%? Because obviously that extra 10% would be the 40% from Uncle, and then there's, I believe, 10% like normal damage. Do you think it's worth the 720 statues for me to switch out Steel, basically rendering her to no longer be in my setup, and you know, change her for Uncle? Is that worth the 720?
Yes.
I don't know. Will it make a huge difference? Maybe not. The thing is, Uncle is much better than Steel Fighter.
100% agree.
Steel Fighter has zero offensive skills, but she does have a good shield, and she does reduce the skill damage by 30%. That's why I don't use Steel Fighter anymore, unless my base is about to get siege. Then I will switch any offensive officer I don't like to replace with Steel Fighter. Is it worth wasting 700 statues, 720 statues? I don't know. It's a tough call. I mean, maybe for you it's not if you have a lot of statues, I guess.
I mean, I got 1,400 sitting around, and I'm just debating, do I save them for these new officers that I know are going to be good, or do I get him and change it for Steel? So it's a tough question, as you said. Maybe I'll think about it, you know, moving forward, whether to switch around or not.
My opinion on that is you should totally do that, and the reason being is because you actually are getting positives all the way across the board. The only negative there is the fact, if you're looking at this at a base defense perspective, you're only losing 200 shield coefficient, which you can actually tweak your setup with just putting HP on the skill tabs.
I wouldn't be using him for shield. He would only be getting used. He would be on the spare unit, just being for the skills he provides for the defense.
Well, you're also getting that, remember, 40% skill damage reduction, right? Where Steel Fighter only has 30.
Correct.
And you're also getting that base HP recovery, which she does not have. And
True.
You're getting that 10% normal attack damage reduction. That's huge. And that skill is shareable as well. So he's already bringing more to the table than Steel Fighter effectively.
100%. I don't disagree. I'm just wondering if it's worth 720 statues at this point in the game. But maybe it is. Moving on, we've got Mr. Argent Flame, and honestly, he has always been a very good officer. Definitely an A tier. Is he slowly but surely going to become irrelevant? Maybe, but we'd have to see, because at the moment, free-to-play artillery officers are, yes, they're getting better, but they're not being something super crazy like some new tank ones we've seen lately.
I like Argent Flame. I like him. He does some splash damage. He's useful. May get weaker compared to the new splash damage dealer. However, I still have him, and I keep him for my defensive artillery. Not S tier for sure. He's an A tier, solid.
My opinion, A tier solid. The only drawback to Argent Flame, in my opinion, is the fact that for him to fully, to maximize his use, you need to have him as a leader in your artillery troop to gain that maximum buff from him. But like Mag said, he is one of the only splash / AoE dealers in the game. I believe there's only
3,
4 or 5. No, 4 or 5. We got White Wolf, that's 1. But as far as artillery, there's 3. Yeah, no, 4. Yeah, 4. So yeah, he's very valuable, and I do agree with the placement. He is definitely A tier.
Agree. Moving on, we have Mr. What is his name again? Wolf. Winter Huntsman. That's it. Winter Huntsman. I think he's. Does he deserve B, or is he technically a C? I mean,
No,
yes,
B.
he is B. Okay, so for a light tank, he can be good early game. Obviously, in game, moving on, we're definitely going to have much better options, but he does offer that sort of slowdown, and considering you can get him for free pretty quick in the Theater of Conquests by getting him from the Conquest store, I think he's still somewhat relevant, and you can definitely use at least a couple of skills from him.
Yeah, I mean, his statues are more affordable, I guess, in Moscow Conquest, I think, and in the Conquest store, those statues are cheaper. He's good, not the best anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, B tier.
I agree with that B tier. The fact that he's a versatile officer brings a lot of weight to the table with him. He does good on any tank unit. I've actually seen him used on artillery units. I do not recommend it, but the person did not have anything available. So that was actually like the best thing he could put in at the time, and it actually performed pretty well. So yeah, definitely B tier.
Yeah, he's better than nothing, for example. The next one here, we've got the Bear. Is that his name, literally Bear? I think it is, right? No.
Herald of Peace.
Herald of Peace, there's the one. I think he's a decent officer. If you're talking like you just want a pure offensive infantry, he'd be high A, but as an overall, I think he's middle A to me. He does offer a really good balance skill, which is 10% damage resist, 10% damage. So overall, I think he's a good A tier just for the fact that he has that one of the best balance skills on the game.
If you play with the infantry more on the offense, I think he's one of the best.
No, I agree with you both on that. He is awesome for infantry. He's definitely on my awakening list. And like you said before, he is only one of 2 officers that have that balance skill, and that balance skill is so valuable. I believe it's a damage and damage resist of 10%, and it's phenomenal.
Agreed. Moving on to the next one, we have got another infantry officer here, and it is Everbloom, and she's definitely top A tier for the fact that she just provides so much protection for infantry, whether it be on the field or tanking a base. And what do you reckon, boys? Does she deserve S tier? Because when it comes to infantry, she's a must. What do you reckon?
S.
What was that, Mag?
S.
Yeah.
S as well from you, Mag?
She's a must. For if you play with infantry and you know what you're doing, she is a must.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I didn't want to rush to put her in S, but I think all 3 of us are happy and comfortable she's in there. Just so much protection.
Don't be shy. Put him in the S tier.
So much protection, and she does her job perfectly well. Moving on to the next one here, we have got Inferno. For me, Inferno is a very good Air Force officer, and I think it's the first Air Force officer we're talking about. I think he offers great damage, one of the highest damage, but it's over time, so you don't get that damage instantly. It takes 4 seconds to reach that max damage. There are officers that can give that damage like a lot quicker, but again, he just maxes out on the damage. But what do you guys think?
I think he is A tier individually, but if you pair him with El Cartero, he becomes instantly an S tier, in my opinion. Because he buffs his skill that buffs burning damage, works hand in hand with El Cartero, and he has a great defensive skill for bombers, and he does do good tick damage over time, which also works hand in hand with El Cartero as well.
This is true, but again, I might have to remind you about the new officer Eagle that's come out. You're not gonna want to not have him. If you are a bomber main, you want Eagle. So that means you can't really pair, El Cartero with Inferno, because it's a must-have. You have to have Lone Eagle in that setup. for my personal opinion. What do you reckon, Mag?
I can't comment too much about Inferno. I don't have him awakened yet. I would not agree to place him in S tier. There's a better officer.
Agreed.
I'd be happy with A tier.
No. I think you guys are misunderstanding me. I said he's only S tier if he's paired with El Cartero. I was
sure.
not going. I was not going against the grain there because
Good condition, right? I would be
Right.
rich if I win the lottery, right?
right.
But yeah,
So
A
right
tier is a
now-
good spot for him, I think. Moving up, we have
A-tier.
got Mr. Stinger, and for me, you know, being the fact he's a brand new officer, he has a very high damage coefficient and then a lot of extra damage. I'm gonna put him S tier. Obviously, I'm still gonna listen to you guys. I know it's a hard one, but when it comes to just pure defense, he is one of the best. Like he offers so much extra. I know, before Mag says anything, with his little smile on his face, I know currently he is broken. We are looking into it, but with that being said, when he's working at his full potential, I think he's an S tier. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I mean, yes, S tier only in defense, but as a whole, I don't think he deserved the S tier. I mean, he's really close though, and I will still forgive you if you put him in S tier.
Okay.
We're still friends, okay? But he's not on the same tier as Lady Liberty. No way.
For sure.
Mean, like I said, he's really great, but much better in garrison than on the field. He
True.
got a damage boost, not a damage boost, but a base damage resist or a base boost.
Yeah. I mean,
He's good,
as
he's
a
great,
free to
but
play,
he's much, yeah.
as a free to play, do you think he deserves S tier for being a free to play?
No.
No.
In
Oh,
my
okay.
opinion, no.
Okay,
He's,
so
he's great, A tier, but not.
so you would say he's like pretty much at the top of A tier though.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if he would be a little better on the field, he would be S tier worthy, in my opinion.
True, he does lose out on one skill, which is obviously you have to be garrison, so he does lose out on that one skill when out in the field. But other than that, yeah, I'm happy to put him in A for now. Maybe we can revisit it. Moving up next, we've got Brisk Eagle. You guys are gonna probably hate on me for this, but I do think she's just a high B. Now she's an okay officer. She does provide something early game, but once you get those, you know, just pretty much any of the other three bomber officers, they're better than her. So I think she deserves a B tier for me.
I don't have a lot of experience with her. I do have her awakened. She got some great skills, critical damage. I believe she was the first to have some crit damage. She have that awakened skill. She cannot take damage for 1 second, I think, after she deals some critical damage, something like that. If you run multiple bombers, that could be useful. Yeah, I would agree with B tier.
I apologize. Is she a bomber officer or a versatile officer?
No, but
Versatile.
Okay.
I think she's very useful on the bomber. You really see her skill in action in the bomber. And with that awakened skill, she doesn't take damage for 1 second. That's kind of useful when you want to bomb in a hot spot.
Okay.
Even if you take a lot of fire, you won't suffer as much as any other bomber officer.
I see.
She makes a great filler officer. You know, no matter which, like Mag said, she really shines on a bomber. But if, like, say you're a newer player, right, and you were a whale for a newer player, you had to get a bomber officer before 75 days or a fighter plane officer. I would rather you choose Brisk Eagle over Heaven Saviour or Wings of Glory. And yeah, that's my standpoint there, and I will lay in the ditch with it.
Yeah, for me though, when it comes to bombers, there's 4 other bombers that I'd rather put above her. So for me, I don't think she deserves an A tier. Are we happy for her being in B?
No. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, perfect. Next up, we got another air officer here, and it's Phantom. He's definitely good. Maybe like either low A or for me high B. I think we'll have to put him low A because obviously a lot of people do use him, but I think there just are better officers out there when it comes to fighters.
I actually gotta say, I use him very regularly. I use Air Force very regularly as a support player. He's fallen down to a B tier, and I'll explain why. He does very well when paired with Nagarani, but if someone's running, say, Bladewing and Polar Phantom, you're going to be outdone by someone running Silver Comet and Bladewing together, or Bladewing and Nagarami versus someone running Bladewing and Polar Phantom.
Agreed.
It's just, they're too squishy, and you're like, especially if you're getting attacked by multiple fighters at once. He would be valuable only in a 1v1 scenario or you ambushing. That's about it. He stood the test of time for a very long time. He's still an awesome officer, but he does not fit in A category at all for me. Your turn, Mag.
I don't play with him anymore. I have him awakened, so it's hard for me to comment. I guess I would be happy with him in B tier. I don't know.
Well, also, you're a bit. I know you're struggling here. Are you thinking more of a C tier, or maybe are you thinking closer to A? Like,
I'm
not C tier, definitely not.
okay.
Yeah.
Between B and A, which one? I don't know.
I see. For now, I think we'll keep him in B. Obviously, me and Fubar both think B, and then obviously Mag's still on the fence, but maybe we can revisit this. But let's move on to the next officer here. We have Inferno, and for me, Inferno when it comes. I apologize. Yes, this is El Cartero. I don't know why I said Inferno. I think El Cartero for me is when it comes to bomber officers, better personally than Inferno, and the reason for it is he just offers more in more situations. He doesn't have quite high as a damage coefficient as Inferno, but what he does is he instantly provides that payload. He slows down units and just overall gives extra damage in there. So I think, and then on top, when awoken, he burns them. So yes, Inferno obviously does have a little bit of a higher damage coefficient, but it takes time. It takes like 4 seconds to get to that max damage, whereas Inferno is instant and he stops them from moving for 2 seconds. So especially on any bomber, you can end up coming in and getting the extra damage in much quicker, I personally think. What do you reckon, guys?
You said it all. You said everything. He's so annoying when you get slowed down by this bomber, and you don't need a strong bomber to have an assist or slowing down this target for your friends. So yeah, he's a solid A.
Well, if you're running multiple bombers, definitely El Cartero and Inferno I would think would be your best bet overall, but there is better options. So like I said before, if paired together with El Cartero and Inferno, in my opinion, that pairing is an S tier pairing, but individually I agree, A tier.
Perfection. So moving on, we have Thorn Countess, and I'm going to do it, boys. I'm going to put her in S tier. Although she is a tank officer, she's basically versatile, as I've mentioned before. She only has one skill, which is 40% HP, which offers only to tanks. But regarding that one skill, everything else works on any other unit. She can be used on infantry. She can be used on tanks. She does her job extremely well. Obviously offers base shield. She's the only one that does it, and then she pulls her aids as well. I don't think I need to say anymore. For me, S tier 100%. What do you guys think?
I think you're sold, bro. I'm not gonna try to change your mind.
I'm sold on it. What do you reckon though? Please enlighten me.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put her on. I guess I would put her on the same tier as Uncle, since she's paired with Uncle on my setup.
Okay. Mr. Fubar?
My opinion is she is the only officer in the game that provides a base shield.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of her flexibility is what puts her in S tier. And that one skill has stood the test of time. We don't have a second officer that to compare her with as far as that, she was the very first officer to provide officer skill damage reduction while in the field. I mean, yeah, she stood the test of time. She's highly valuable. I still recommend her to everybody.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
And I mean, if you look at not all, but 99% of whales, you see that base, she'll get activated whenever being attacked. So they have her on there. I think it says it all. Moving on, we have got... I always forget his name. Is it Heaven Savior? Is that his name?
Heaven Saviour, and he goes in NA.
Are we putting him in NA? I think, yeah, we missed him. I think because like he is Gen 1, and honestly, there is better. Obviously, we could take a skill from him, but I don't think he really belongs on the list because he's been in since the start again. Would you reckon, Mag?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. We have got here Rapier, and I'm gonna do it, boys. There's another S tier free-to-play officer. I think he's just absolutely phenomenal. What do you boys reckon?
I don't.
Absolutely.
I don't disagree with your choice there. Like Mag said, White Tank, absolutely. I've actually seen some people using him on MBT and do fairly well. So I feel like he's like Valkyrie, and when she was new, a lot of people try maximizing on the White Tank skill, but he's good no matter where you put him.
Anything more, Mag? Or there's nothing else to say, really. He's just S tier.
Let's keep this short. You want a good light tank officer that is free to play. Look no further. He's the man.
Agreed, 100%. Next up, we've got Silver Comet, and honestly, I'm gonna put him in A tier. I know there's a lot of like with him because like he only is gets that extra damage if he has the officer in what's his brother's name? I forgot already. He's in NA here. Tip of the Spear. But I just feel like, as you said, like even when you don't have Tip of the Spear on, he still beats most when if he has a good pairing, that is, he still beats most other officers.
Yeah, he's good. I'm not gonna disagree on you with you on that. He's good.
Perfect. Fubar?
I think he's right there in A tier. He's definitely worth it.
Okay, perfect. I guess like we'll move on. I mean, he is a Gen 1 officer, but he stood the test of time. We have the Witcher next, and honestly, I feel like I'm personally going to put her in B tier, and the reason for it is there are better defense officers, but if you want pure defense, then I guess she would be on your defense fighter, but for me, definitely top end of B. She can be used if you're running two fighters, but I don't think she'd be a primary. What do you guys reckon?
If you run two fighters, you need her. You need her with Nagarani as your tanking fighter. Otherwise, I would pick Nagarani over the Witcher any day of the week.
I agree with Mag there.
Perfect. I think that's are you happy with B tier here?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, moving on. None other than Red Heat. Honestly, as we've kind of discussed when talking about Lady Liberte, I think Red Heat, she just, although she doesn't offer that 5 grid range, whereas Liberte does, the amount of damage she outputs is so high that I don't know if she is better, because technically, if you think about a base defense, right, which is where she super like shines in, the base itself offers that 5 grid range. So theoretically speaking, when inside a base, she has 5 grids. So could she, in that aspect, be the #1 artillery officer? Or do you still think the Liberte, just because of the fact she offers that field 5 range, what do you guys reckon?
I think
Numero uno is Lady Liberte.
That's not going to change your mind.
The second one. No, you're not going to change my mind. I have both awake and
agreed. You have to.
Both. The splash damage she deals is absolutely insane. Nobody else come close, not even close. Yeah, she is good. However, I would still pick Lady Liberte first for that 5 map grids.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I gotta agree with Mag, but she is definitely second, and she even does even better when paired with Maestro, because Maestro technically does burning damage, and she increases burning damage as well, and she buffs the other officer's skills. She is a must-have for base defense, I feel, and she's awesome in the field.
She is absolutely amazing, but I do want to let you know, Miss Fubar, if you read the wording for her skill, she actually does say that she only buffs her skill. It doesn't mention the troop or anything, so it's only her fire that she increases, I believe.
Oh, okay. I gotta re-look into that.
I may be wrong, but if we on any other officer that does for multiple, it mentions troop, being the entire troop, including the other officer. But with her, it says her skill. So maybe I'm wrong, and they've just, you know, we never know with Lilith's wordings. Maybe they intend for it to be that way, but let's hope that it is true. Next up, we've got Bladewing, guys, and Bladewing for me is an easy S tier. I mean, he's
S?
I meant A. Sorry. I meant A.
Okay.
I did mean A. I don't know why I said S, but he's an easy for me, an easy A tier. Definitely one of the best officers you can get for a fighter.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He is good. The thing is, he doesn't deal a lot of damage, but he does have this slowdown trick that is quite useful to chase a bomber or a fighter. That is quite annoying, I must admit. Once you're caught in this trap, you can
Agreed.
never get away.
It feels like forever.
Yeah, but he's a weaker damage dealer. He's not the greatest at dealing damage, though.
I do agree, but I mean, I think it's what, 1250 damage coefficient. It's still decent, to be fair, but as you said, it's definitely not the highest. Moving on to Nagarani, easy A tier. I feel like from a free-to-play point of view, some might even put her in S, but I'm personally gonna put her in A, but I don't have her. What do you guys think?
I personally don't have her.
Yeah. I'm happy with her in A tier.
Okay.
She does complete, for me, Darkwing. He does provide a lot of damage resist or shield. Yeah, she's great. She's so far my second best, my second favorite fighter officer.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Moving on, speaking of Darkwing, easy S tier. By far the most potent offensive fighter officer. I believe he's the only fighter officer that's exclusive lounge, but not much needs to be said. He's the best fighter officer out there.
He's the best. He needs a shield officer if you only have one fighter, because he doesn't provide much protection. However, his interception skill is absolutely devastating. You notice it right away when you bump into a fighter that got this officer. Yeah, he's A tier. Sorry, yeah, S tier. Sorry.
I agree with Mag there. He is a giant blast cannon, and he definitely needs to have a protection officer with him.
Agreed. Moving on, we have got Eye of Providence, and it's one of those guys. I mean, if you are attacking, I don't know where to put him. Is he A or is he S?
S.
Oh, I
Because
think
if you're gonna kill, there's no other officer that's really toned to dealing damage to bases.
I mean,
and
there
he
is
works
one,
really
but
well.
we haven't got to him yet. But I think he's close to being NA as well.
Yeah, he is. But you like, if you could put him with, like, he only goes well with two other officers. One of them we already have in S tier, and the other one we haven't gotten to yet. And you gotta agree with me that if you put him with Lady Liberty, you're gonna do so much damage on a base. It's ridiculous.
Agreed. I mean, it doesn't.
Days, though.
Well, true.
Yeah.
The thing is, you do obviously. Mag's got a point. He is, you know, and I've already said here about a negative about this on someone else, but he is a one-trick pony. But in fact, thinking about it, he also is really good when it comes to defense. When people tank you with infantry, because fortifications, you know, that's what infantry are. So overall, I still think, I personally will vote him as S, because he is the best at what he does, the same way that Uncle is the best at what he does, and also, you know, Everbloom is the best at what she does for her particular unit. So I think I'm happy for him to be an S tier, because just when it comes to dealing damage to fortifications, there is nothing even close to being as good as him. What do you reckon, Mag?
Okay, you win.
Yes!
I'll give you rest.
Let's go! Moving on to Bear. I think that's an easy C tier. Moving on. C tier for an exclusive lounge officer. I don't know how they decided to make him exclusive lounge. He just isn't.
It was good.
He is. The thing is, right? He is good, but is he $1,200 good? No.
No.
Theoretically speaking, if you was to put him up against other bombers, he could theoretically be A if he was a free-to-play officer. But I think just because he's an exclusive lounge, he needs to be B or even C. What do you guys reckon? Please let me know.
He's not.
God, no. Even if he was free to play, he'd be an NA. God.
No, he's still good, Fubar. You can't. He has the ability, if he was free to play, to be much higher than what we've got him at this very second.
I don't know what battlegrounds you guys are playing in.
Go take a shower. Go off to the locker room.
Hold on. No, I don't know what battlefield you guys are playing in. I know, Mag, you play in Legendary 1. I know, Scopes, you play in Gold 3 sometimes and sometimes Silver 1. But, I mean, like, just from my reactions, right? And I'm playing in Silver 1, Restricted. As if you were running Rictus Reaper, I tell you right now, those fighter planes are going to just fly in and shred you before you even get that final bomb off. I mean, that right there is such a big deliberate hit. Like,
True.
As far as taking losses, you're going to take so many losses just trying to get to that one awakened skill to go off. That is such a big handicap. Yeah, no, I would put him in NA if he was free to play. The only reason why I say C is because of his special skill. That is the most valuable thing about him.
Where would you put him, Mag? I'm close to saying B tier.
I would be happy with B tier. He does have a few good skills. Let's say if he would be free to play, he would belong in the B tier. Nothing more. He's not horrible. I mean, Pixie is horrible. He's a little bit better.
Where is Pixie?
I will agree with.
Oh, Pixie's here. Yeah, NA, yeah. I guess, yeah. I mean, we'll keep him in B tier for now, but as we said, it's the fact that you have to pay so much money to get him that makes me want to put him in C tier. Moving on, we got Maesto, and I think Maestro's an easy A tier. For me, he's very good on obviously an ATG. He offers that burn damage, but I do think obviously we're limited to 10 ground force officers, right? And if you are someone who has, you need to realistically get the best of the best officers available, I think there's better. He is good, don't get me wrong, but I think there's better. What do you guys think?
Then he would belong in B. With that statement, I mean, if you play with the ATG, it would be an A tier. I do not play with the ATG. I do have this unit. I just, I guess I'm not a big ATG player, so it would belong in B tier.
Oh, okay.
His splash damage is kind of weak. I mean, he splash in sequence and not as a. It doesn't splash a whole cluster.
No, I mean that makes sense.
No, Mag makes a very solid argument there, especially with the splash effect on him, more the AoE effect, like where he does that Sunder armor and does the damage resist, and then it's like the staining and everything. And it really goes towards, like, the big concept here is your philosophy to combat and what your play style is. That really influences where he is. How many credible officers do we have for artillery that are actually really effective? That's what you got to ask yourself.
Yeah.
And how many howitzers or ATG or arty you running in your setup? So if you had to pick, like, for example, a lot of base-to-base players run 3 arty, right? And a lot of defensive players will play 2 arty, 1 ATG. So that's 3 either way, and you need to have a choice. I would say, yeah, B or A, like very high B to, like, on the tip of going into A. But just because there's not a lot of potent artillery officers to fill in for him, and it's a solid option if you want to have that splash effect.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I do agree. It's pretty much ATG is the main thing. You know, you wouldn't really put him on a Howie. There is much better. But even then, I actually think Eagle is just as good on a ATG. He offers, you know, more damage when it comes to that normal shot, and the ATG's normal shot is its main focus. But that's just my personal opinion. Moving on, we have got Saber of the Nation. Guys, I even want to put him high A. I know you guys want to put him in S. I 100% know. So if you are happy to put him in S, I will. But I just think that I think he's a very good officer. But is he worth the money at this stage in the game? Hell no.
No, if you have a choice and you only awaken one exclusive officer, I would not go with Saber first. However, I do have him, and what I like about him is his tactical skill.
Agreed.
And his awaken skill. If you can launch that tactical skill on first strike, you win.
For sure.
You win that duel, guaranteed. So yeah, he's quite useful, deals a lot of damage.
It's that one...
Grid,
Sorry, Fubar. It's that one two-letter word you said, if. And there's the one thing I don't like about some skills is the if part. Like, the percentage, and it being only 30%, that's what gets it for me. If it was 100%, like, every time, easy A. But for me... sorry, easy S. But for me, I'm happy with him A. What about you, Fubar?
All right, so I just finished Awakening Saber of the Nation free to play.
Ah, congratulations.
I was very, very excited about it. I did it like three exclusive lounges ago. I was so disappointed because I must have the worst luck with getting that awakening skill to go off. Like I must roll if you were playing D&D and you roll a dice and you got the roll from 0 to 20, I get the 0 every time. So like I do like him. He's very valuable for an ATG if you do not have Maestro. But because he has that awesome skill where he does 25% tank damage, and also if he has the polar opposite of the skill of Lady Liberty, the more health. If an enemy unit has 50% or less health, it does more damage. But the one thing I don't like, worse than the awakened skill, is the tactical skill is all dependent on range. And here's the thing now. He would be amazing if he's on Lady Liberty or Antonina, but if you put him on an ATG without that and it's just used on base defense, now you got a hindrance. And that's because his skill only increases based off range.
True.
That's my opinion.
No, I fully understand that. So moving on to the next officer here, we have Antonina, and I think we can comfortably put her in. Oh, where did she go? Here you go. I think we can comfortably put her in S tier. I mean, she offers that 5 grid range, which is only one of 2 officers that do it. And believe it or not, if you do testing with her, she's still high up in the rankings with damage. She offers, pretty much everything that you want in an officer. What do you guys think?
I think she's the GOAT. I think that you guys can't argue with me on this. She's been there from day one. And ever since day one, she's held that reigning title to this day. And there's a reason why they call it the champion of the people.
Yeah.
I'm
S tier, I don't know. Yeah, between S and A. I mean, okay, she deserved the S tier, I guess, because she's a veteran.
Is it the fact that she's Gen 1 and still keeps up?
Yes, she's the only one legacy. While we're talking, I look at my officer lineup, and
is she there?
The only legacy officer still on my lineup.
She's still there for you, so I guess at 500 mil, if she's still in your lineup, she deserves an S tier, I think. Moving on, is it Lone Star? Is that his name, Lone Star? Lonesome Star.
Yeah,
I'm something like that. B, I mean, you're more of an infantry person. Is he more of a C? He has 1 or 2 good skills, but other than that, I think on paper he looks better, right?
He looks a lot better on paper. I don't have him awakened, but I did some testing with him just like as is. I would put him in C tier, like almost on the cusp of B tier. He does do well with Herald of Peace, but only because Herald of Peace is there, or if Everbloom is there. You know, like
It's not
he
him doing
needs
it.
someone it's not him doing it because his splash damage skill is completely random and RNG, and it's not consistent.
You happy with that, Mr. Mag?
It's hard for me to comment. It's an officer I don't have awakened. I don't play with infantry, so I'd rather not.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to comment too, but just from reading the skills, I think that's where he sits, and obviously after testing, we're probably going to get some infantry lovers hating on us right now. Moving on, we got Eruptor. I mean, the reason I haven't put him in NA is he does have a really good skill, because obviously the fortification damage. I mean, to be fair, all of these officers have something to offer, so technically he could belong in NA. But C tier, I'd be happy with him in C tier. He does something, you know. Recent testing a friend of mine done actually last week. He had some potential when it comes to attacking a base, but you're not going to use him. You're going to use Eye of Providence, so he's not worth it, in my opinion.
I wouldn't put in an NA. I used to rock him when there was no better option, but if you
when you were 50 mil.
Sorry?
When you was 50 mil, is that when you used to rock him?
Something like that. He got some decent skills.
Yeah.
He's better than NA. NA is like for the
the worst.
So would you say then that this guy needs to come out? I mean, I don't know.
No, he's horrible. He's horrible. There's no reason to get him.
True. Vox, high A. I mean, some people would even put her in S. But like for me, for her to be in S, she needs to provide more than the only reason she's used, and it's her first skill and maybe her second skill as a skill training. What do you guys think?
If she had a damage coefficient, I would put her in S.
Okay.
She's great. She have her impact on your base durability is great.
Yeah, I mean, 35% of just pure damage resist, and then obviously if her giving her second skill, which is a 35% damage when garrisoned, obviously you just put that on your ATG and you're fucking laughing.
That's no joke.
It is. It's a lot. One thing though, boys, do you reckon we will see a Vox 2.0 within the next year? Maybe an upgraded officer like her? No.
No, I'm thinking I'm thinking maybe a Thorn Countess 2.0.
Oh, a new base shield officer. Could be. Moving on, we have got Lone Eagle.
Yes.
Is he S? I think he's S. I think he deserves to be an S. He's pretty much if you have a bomber, you want him. There is no one like, you're gonna want to pair him with someone, but he is the one you want. Okay, I don't know about you. What do you guys think?
I actually think Lone Eagle is friggin' phenomenal. He's good on any bomber. He has unique traits towards each bomber, except for Vanguard and Modders share the same traits.
Yep.
I find he works best with Rising Star, and actually I just noticed one of those Wings of Glory at the bottom has to be Rising Star because we're on the model for him.
That's true.
And I think he is Lone Eagle by himself, S tier all the way. He does so much damage, but and he could even do more damage than what I'm talking about. But it's all dependent on like whether you have an ally in the proximity of where you're bombing for that extra skill damage coefficient. So yeah, definitely S tier there. What do you think, Mag?
Oh, he was a huge upgrade back in the day when I was running Percy. What a difference. The damage he deal is phenomenal. Great. He's a must-have if you're looking for a bomber officer.
And I'm sure you're happy with him being in S tier?
Oh, I wouldn't disagree, yeah.
Okay, very nice. This picture is... what is his name? We're going to use him as Rising Star. We don't have his picture. For some reason, we've got a duplicate of him. So I'm going to put him... I'm going to put Rising Star in A tier. I think he's definitely one of the better officers. I personally think El Cartero is slightly better than Rising Star, in my personal opinion. But again, maybe it depends on what bomber you want to use. But I think overall, no matter what bomber you have, I think the annoyance of El Cartero is just that little bit better. But Rising Star, definitely amazing. What do you guys think?
I use Rising Star over El Cartero, and I think it's more situational. The reason why is because, like I said before, a lot of players have focused on developing very strong fighters. So for me, in my outlooking philosophy of combat, I want to hit and run as fast as possible. So I don't want to sit there and just like stun, and rely on the stun. I want to hit them, do the most damage, and get out. And Rising Star has an amazing damage coefficient when awakened, and it's higher than El Cartero's. So yeah, it's really good, in my opinion.
I was about to awaken Rising Star when Lone Eagle appeared, so it would be my second pick. Don't have any experience with him. I don't have him awakened, but I would rank him in A tier.
Perfect. I think the best situation here is Lonesome Star, not Lonesome Star, Lone Eagle is going to be your number one pick. And then whether you choose El Cartero, Rising Star, or Inferno, realistically, all three of these would be a very good aid for Lone Star. Lone Eagle. What do you guys, you agree with that?
100%.
Good shape.
Perfect. Moving on, Wings of Wanderlust. I mean, he has to be an S tier. The first versatile exclusive lounge officer has some amazing skills to grab. And then obviously, if you do have him awakened, I think he's very, very good. What do you boys think?
I don't have any experience with him, but from what I've seen from testing, strictly from 44Mag,
Yep.
it was very impressive, and I was like, whoa. So, for a versatile officer, I actually feel he would be better on infantry or a light tank, maybe. I don't know. That would be all. This is going to be all 44Mag because he's gotten the opportunity to play with him.
The thing is, he's a universal officer. He does everything good, but not great at one specific. Meaning that he doesn't deal any tactical skill damage coefficient. He just boosts his normal attack, which is still good. But if you're looking for to one-shot a unit with the artillery, he's not the officer you want. He's not the one you're looking for. However, his tactical skill will attract your target towards you, and you can finish him off. So I think he belongs in S tier. However, keep in mind that he's a universal officer. He's not, his tactical skill doesn't work like the other officers.
Yeah, agreed. But are you happy for him to be in S tier, seeing as you're the only one who's really used him?
Yes, he is. I'm happy in S tier. On paper, he got some great skills. It's up to you if you can use it to his full potential, if you know how his tactical skill works on the battlefield. I mean, he's not a solid S tier, but he's up there.
Okay.
He's still in S tier.
Perfect. You're gonna have to remind me of her name, guys. She just came out, I know, and I should know her name, but I forgot. Sky Jockey. So Sky Jockey, for me, I think she's an A tier. I've only been able to look at her on paper. She does have some good looking skills, but I feel like for an officer that has just came out as a Gen 4 officer, Nagarani, I'll choose Nagarani still. So like, for me, does she deserve A in that respect? I don't know. Please let me know, guys. What do you think?
From what I've seen, go ahead, Mag.
Okay, I wasn't able to break the code yet with her. Some officers, they were great with their captain, their aide. I was a little bit disappointed by her. I expected her to deal a little bit more damage for a Gen 4 officer. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I have the wrong pairing. I don't know. But I'm going to say that I would pick Nagarani before Sky Jockey unless I find out where she belongs.
Yeah.
So pretty much from the testing I've managed to do with a friend who is on the opposite side of an L4, and we were bored. We decided to run it. He has Sky Jockey in Nagarani Awaken, and he asked me what was the better pairing for Sky Jockey. Essentially, she was like a free-to-play version and a weaker version of Darkwing. Now, the problem is that she's just a giant blast cannon. She doesn't have anything for defense, nothing defense-oriented at all. So she has to be paired with someone with a strong defense. So Nagarani would be the best choice there, because if you put her with Witcher, for example, you will get shredded out of the sky by Nagarani's skill to do extra damage to shields, and that's a huge issue. I mean, like an ungodly issue. So she does not have anything solid unless she's paired with Nagarani at the moment. So I can't say she's an A tier actually, because she does have good crit rate. I would put her in B tier because she's solely dependent on who you pair her with.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
You happy with B tier, Mag, or?
No.
No, I personally think she's
B-tier.
definitely better than some other, you know.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion.
Ooh. No.
The reason-
A.
The reason why is because if you compare her to the other Gen 4s, right?
True.
She's the most handicapped. The most handicapped. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
She's still better than Phantom.
Yeah, if you think of the other,
She
like,
is better than
yeah.
Phantom. She is better than Phantom. I'm saying like high B, almost like.
We'll keep her low A. I think, yeah. 2-1 here. I think right now we can keep her here in A for now. Obviously she's new. She still does offer some pretty decent skills, especially like the intercept one. So overall some good skills, but she just doesn't hit the mark to be, you know, that exceptionally better than Nagarami and other officers that are older than her. The
100%.
final officer, boys. I think we are going to happily agree here as a free-to-play officer. She needs to be S tier. You okay there, Fubar?
No, I'm telling you, move her down that list.
going on,
She
bro?
goes higher on that list. I would put her.
Exercising?
I don't think she's better than Phoenix. I don't think she's better than Phoenix. So I think right here, she to me, I mean, theoretically speaking, if we wanted to move it around, we'd have to put him above him. So I think we should not really take it necessarily in value, because obviously there's a lot of officers here, and I haven't put them in perfect order. Don't get me wrong. I haven't put them in perfect order. But generally, she belongs in S. She's obviously high S. I mean, there's many people I'd rather put above other people in this tier list. So, like, yeah, I don't know. Don't worry about the order they're in, but 100%... still... Wait, what's her name? Madame Havoc is by far... pretty much one of the best tank officers on the game right now, and she's free to play. There is no ifs or buts. She's an S tier. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you said it.
Let's go.
She deals the most amount of tactical skill damage coefficient.
She's friggin' insane. No matter where you put her, she's insane. I mean, I did some testing with her with a whale friend of mine. He had her instantly awakened. He put her with Professor Payne. And it was a Vanguard MBT, no parts. My Liberty Heli, no parts, and we put it head to head. My heli didn't even last 11 seconds. It was ridiculous. It was really bad. she goes up there. She's on my need. I gotta get list.
Yeah. Mag, I know you've done obviously a lot of testing with her on an MB. Absolutely phenomenal. Really good. Have you tried her on anything else yet? Say like a helicopter, for example? Because I know light tanks, their firepower isn't as high, so the damage coefficient won't, you know, she's going to be amazing on a light tank. But what her focal point is the fact that she has 3,150 damage coefficient if you get them stacks off, and therefore you need firepower. So therefore the MB, the heli, the super heavy. I mean, have you seen her on a super heavy? Absolutely crazy.
No, didn't try her on super heavy.
So I literally saw a clip. Both of them were maxed out, and basically she in her versus an MB on the super heavy managed to literally get the MB from full HP to under half HP in one shot. So very strong on a super heavy, but you just don't use super heavy in the field. So, you know, imagine Svallin and her together, because Svallin offers some really good damage as well as protection. Imagine them two on as like a fighting super heavy. That's going to be pretty strong. But again, you don't use super heavy as an offense. So yeah, MB you've tested. Have you tested Heli?
I didn't test the Ellie.
Okay.
Maybe to break out a gathering around your base, she would be great on the
Oh.
super heavy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Helicopter, I don't play with the helicopter. I don't even have one in my inventory.
Yeah.
But I guess she would be good on the helicopter. I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. She's good on any armor.
I tell you what, Mag.
Yeah.
If you next time you're being attacked, just for a laugh, if you know you're not going to get immediately attacked within the next couple of seconds, you know they're slowly coming towards you, and you've got time to pull out your super. You run super heavy, right? Try and
Yes, I
chuck
do.
her on your super heavy, and just try and attack something and see how it comes. I want to see that clip. Make sure you let us know. But yeah, I think.
can't wait.
Is everyone excited, or not excited, but is everyone happy about this list? Is there anyone you think, nah, we really need to move them to somewhere else? Let me know now, boys.
I think
Pretty good.
I think it's pretty good. I
Okay.
think it's pretty solid. On your question about the heli, that one whalefare, and we did try it with his heli, and it was very, very potent and very, very good. He did struggle to get it to 10 stacks.
Okay.
I think he got it to 9, but it was still really good.
Perfect. All right. So, and also, Mag, I want to let you know with the Madam Havoc, the stacks, obviously, he mentioned the heli didn't make it. The super heavy only got to 4 stacks and still got it half HP.
Oh,
So, yeah, 4 stacks, over half HP taken off in one skill is kind of crazy. But, guys, thank you so much for your time to break down this tier list of pretty much every officer, excluding a couple. I really appreciate the time you've taken to come and do this with me.
my pleasure.
Yeah, anytime, man. We got your 6.
Perfect, guys. And as always, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in and watched this video. If you haven't already done so, remember to smash that like button. And as always, guys, the links to the boys are going to be down in the description. Make sure you go hit the subscribe button over there. As always, I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next video.
Peace.